Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. We are on the map New Repugnancy because it is AlphaStar Day. And so, without further ado, in the bottom left, we have got AlphaStar playing Terran in a TVZ. And so that means we have got ourselves a Master Zerg going to be taking on AlphaStar. Yeah, it's always fun to watch AlphaStar's TVZ. The Terran, I think I've said it before, is the most unique, I'd say, of AlphaStar. Of AlphaStar that we've really seen. Like, it sometimes does some more crazy things than I'd say the other races of AlphaStar does. Yeah. Now, taking a look, we've got a normal hatch opening for the Masters player, so no cheeky cheese. I think that playing Zerg against AlphaStar would probably be one of the harder races to play because of the AI's constant harassment. And so, even like the lower ends of AlphaStar, it's like it might make questionable decisions, but for the most part, it's got pretty good macro and micro. So even if you're like a diamond player playing against one of the lower tiers of AlphaStar, you're going to be hard-pressed to macro and micro as well as AlphaStar does. And so that kind of puts you at an inherent disadvantage. So we'll see if this Masters player is able to keep good macro going. We know AlphaStar probably will. And that's why we do look at what the human player's doing sometimes. But yeah, the AI, just as always, going for an expand build, getting up the depot. They'll throw up its factory, probably, and then go from there. We have got a mule dropping down. Bing, bang, boom, down, and mining right to work. And now, yeah, Reaper going to be moving out on the map. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how... Oh boy, where do we go with this one? Seeing as how Star starts with S, and you know it also starts with S? 6. So let's go for 6 likes on this video. If you guys can slap that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. Although I do think we've got one of the best channels on YouTube as far as you guys slapping that like button. Oh, Reaper almost gets a drone. Yeah, like the like to viewer ratio on these videos is pretty nice, and so for that I say you guys are the best. Reaper getting kind of caught for AlphaStar. Oh, will actually go down. Doesn't get a drone, so. With AlphaStar, with the, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Icarus Reaper? Flew too close to the sun? That's one of the words that I've read, but I never actually pronounced it. Icarus? That's the question. Now we take a look. Starport's on the way. And a couple of Hellions are on the way too. AlphaStar has lost its Reaper, so the Masters player feels free to move out with his Zerglings on the map, which isn't necessarily a wrong decision. I mean, he's 10 seconds away from speed, so while AlphaStar is about to have a few Hellions out, the Lings can kind of poke and prod now, and this is one of the joys of picking off a Terran's early Reaper in a game of Starcraft. Means that the Zerg can drone hard, the Zerg can cheese, and the Terran player really won't know what's going on. However, these Lings, they do just settle for trying to grab an SCV. It looks like they get one SCV for 4 Zerglings. Not terrible, I'm gonna say, for the Masters player, as long as he remembers from here on to make a few more Lings, because there's still Hellions out on the map and they can dive on in. And if you try and defend a Hellion run by with just, say, 2 Zerglings, that's not really gonna work out. Particularly how these Zerglings are not doing too hot. They are not doing too hot. They'll get there eventually, they'll heal back up. But takes a little bit of time for Zerg units that aren't burrowed roaches or mutalisks. Hellions moving out for AlphaStar, checking those hidden locations where Zerg might leave some tricky Lings to stay at the 3rd base. We'll see if it's going to check more, but the answer is no. So far, though, I'm really liking this game from the Masters player. I mean, he hasn't done anything that I'd say is wrong. He's flying at an okay drone count, not the highest drone count, and that's because he's investing in a lair. He's just built 3 spore crawlers, which, keep in mind, is 3 drones gone. And he's actually going for 4 spore crawlers, so this Zerg is making the absolute correct decision, but oh no, he never made any more Zerglings! Oh, what did I say? What did I say, ladies and gentlemen? Trying to defend a Hellion run-by with only 2 Zerglings is going to be a bad time, and we are going to be seeing that. I mean, the queens are kind of just a given, and the drones at the natural stay safe. But it's kind of like when you build a dam and it ends up protecting you from flooding, but it floods your neighbor's house instead. So the drones in the main base are those neighbors, but they're actually doing okay for now. AlphaStar not getting too good shots off. Not actually just diving on those drones, constantly being zoned out by the Masters player. And by God, apparently the Masters player is just a legend. He's lost 8 drones, but that's like low end for a Hellion run-by like that when you've got no lings, basically. That could have been like in the 20 drone mark if that was one of my latter games and I was trying to play Zerg. Now, taking a look, Carapace does get started for the Masters player. The Banshee being a nuisance while this goes on. However, the Spores, of course, are going to help with that. Lings going in for a counterattack. Don't really get too much done. The problem with this, though, is that AlphaStar is just macroing up like a god, as per usual. So we see the worker count very, very close, which is not a good thing for the Zerg player. AlphaStar's production is starting to get going. The AI's already got Stim, Combat Shield, +1 on the way next. So not really prioritizing Medivacs like the AI, human players necessarily do. But the AI will eventually get that, getting up a reactor on that starport. And now we see the 2 Banshees going to be moving out for AlphaStar. They do get zoned out by the Queens initially. There is an Overseer morphing, so that's going to be able to... That's going to be able to allow those queens to help zone this out. The Masters player, he's really on it if we actually look at it. Like, he moves the queen. He knows that the next logical place for the Banshees to go is to the main base. He's got his Spore in a pretty alright position. As long as he's got this queen on hold position, she will help zone out the Banshees a little bit more. Yes, a few drones are pretty much guaranteed to die against these Banshees, but so far doing alright. Now, the problem is AlphaStar just bounces towards the next location, which isn't set up as ideal, and so we are going to be seeing even more and more drones going down. Queens have to reposition to help out here. The Masters player will actually shut this down, however, kills off both the Banshees, fires up 9 drones, and the Masters player isn't playing terribly, I'll say. He's racking a pretty high APM. He is floating quite a bit of money that he doesn't want to be floating. So he's going to need to do something about that. But honestly, one of the best things that I can say, if you're whether it be microing a drop, whether you're trying to defend a drop or defend an attack, take the half a second, queue up some workers, queue up your next round of units, as that's very important in Starcraft 2. And it'll often help you more than paying a little bit extra attention to a fight will do. That's basically what this AlphaStar series has turned into. It's watch AlphaStar kind of wreck nerds while I talk about how much they need to macro more. And the Masters player isn't doing too bad. He's building up money to get a Spire, but the problem is he's only got 37 lings, and the drop's going to start commencing for AlphaStar. And commence they do, as there's already one in the main base that's snuck by my eye. These Marines are in a very, very ideal position. These lings not going to get a wrap around it. Okay, AlphaStar just wins the game. Just like that. The Zerg player ended up being a little bit greedy, not making enough units. He went up to 72 drones, which, considering the losses and the delays to his economy, was a bit too much. And yeah, all right, we got us a dead nerd. So that was game number 1, and this is game number 2. So we have got ourselves a platypus. We're gonna be taking on AlphaStar, of course, a Platinum Zerg. And in the bottom right, Alpha Toss. So we've got us an Alpha PVZ on the map Kairos Junction. Honestly, it would be nice to see if we do eventually get AlphaStar on the newer patch. That would be really nice. Just to see AlphaStar try and understand like Shield Battery Overcharge, play on all the new maps. And yeah, that would be cool to see. Hopefully if there's ever a StarCraft 3, we'll have a built-in AlphaStar agent, or that Blizzard will say use similar means to train AI in order to have better AI in, say, the next StarCraft or something like that, because it's very reasonable that these agents, like, once the hard part is training them up, but once they're trained up, it seems that, I mean, they can pretty much just be accessible, of course, they kind of don't have a ton of diversity if you play just the one agent, but if you make multiple agents, throw them in the game, that would be very cool to have. It's sort of like Starcraft, as is, does definitely have... Starcraft as is definitely has different like AIs in the game. Like if you ever play against like the like very hard AI or whatever, you'll see that there's some that prefers different kind of styles, different kind of timing attacks, things like that. And it's very much the same with AlphaStar. AI, like humans, have preference to how they play, and interestingly enough, for AlphaStar, we do see a Zealot on the way, and a very interesting wall from the AI. Okay, AlphaStar. I'm not sure I'm picking up what you're putting down, but I'll roll with it. The AI does not have a solid wall, so this is not an iteration of AlphaStar that relied on walling off in order to ensure those victories. For now, the Platinum player is making some lings, making a couple of queens. I believe he has forgot his Overlord, so he probably wants to do that. He's forgotten gas as well, interestingly enough. Yeah, he is now supply blocked, which is no good. You gotta build your Overlords. Eat your Overlord, teen. Ovaltine. I don't know. Anyway, the Zealot's gonna try and stand fast. AlphaStar Chrono Boost out the Stalker. The Zealot's actually doing pretty well against these lings. AlphaStar doing a little bit of over-the-top micro. Kind of needless that much micro, but there's only 4 lings out here for AlphaStar. I mean, for the Platinum player, so even if the Zealot does go down, he'll be fine. The Zealot will indeed go down. AlphaStar throws up a gateway to ensure the wall, and actually at the end there, Stalker pops out, gonna be able to kill off one of the lings. All the while, AlphaStar is now getting up a robo behind this, about to finish that up. Stalker starts attacking its own pylon, so we got an AlphaStar misclick, which we see sometimes. It does stop attacking that, though, in order to ensure killing off that ling. Shoots the Overlord, says, get out of here. And a Prism is now on the way for AlphaStar. So we've got a Prism and a Sentry on the way for the AI. All the while, the Platinum player is floating 900 minerals. That's 3 hatcheries that he could be building right now, so he could be 5 hatcheries and just make a ton of Zerglings. Or he could do other things, but we'll see if he can get that mineral count down. The problem is he's still supply blocked at the 28 mark. That's a pretty long supply block we had this game. The Platinum player, he's throwing up extractors like mad, which makes me wonder if he's just going to go for the old 22 drone muta transition. We'll have to see a lair, though, if he's going to go for that. So without a lair, it makes me wonder what he's going to do with all this gas, but he doesn't actually have enough gas to start the lair yet. He will in a second, though, because he's got a ton of extractors now. Okay, AlphaStar flying around with its Prism, going to be warping in an Adept. Singular. What? Okay, there's a second Adept. Now this raises the question: is there like is there a proper terminology for like multiple Adepts? Like, is a group of Adepts like a flock of Adepts? Do Adepts move in herds? Is it a herd of Adepts? Is it a gaggle of Adept? This Immortal doesn't want to miss out on the party. Is like, hey, where'd my car go? Dude, where's my car? And so now these 2 Adepts are going to come in towards the 3rd base of the Platinum player, start executing drones. The Platinum player never remade any lings, so now he's going to make 10 lings to respond to this. However, the drones are already dead. The call came from inside the house as the Adepts shade towards the natural, but looks like the Adepts are just going to hang around a little bit, get lifted up, get on out of there, get out of dodge. AlphaStar throwing up a Twilight Council of Forge and a few gateways. Still just chilling on 2 bases, but a pretty solid economy. The Immortal is still just hanging out here, interestingly enough. And now this also makes me wonder, does AlphaStar use F2? That's also a good question. Does he use the select army hotkey, or does it just select all the units sort of individually because it's an AI? That's a good question. Alright, Prism now going to be heading towards the natural base, going to be looking for some more drone kills. The Platinum player has got to an alright drone count. He's throwing up a Hydra Den. He does finally have Ling speed done. We'll see if these Adepts are able to get some good damage done. The Adepts are going to shade towards the natural, doing that trick, which Protoss players thought was hot around the time that AlphaStar was being trained. the Adept Shade in and evacuate with the Prism. It still happens, but not quite as common, I'd say. 10 more drones on the way for the Platinum player doing that Zerg thing, which you lose workers, you replace them. All the while, AlphaStar throwing up Templar Archives, +1 charge. Quad gateways building right now. And this could lead into a very big attack, just off the back of this harassment, which has killed 7 drones, 9 lings. And if you're wondering, yes, Bob the Immortal is still there, just hanging out, doing his thing. Just watching off to the east, saying like, hey, there's a cactus. There's 2 cactuses. Oh, although, what's he doing? Where you going, guy? Okay, moving a little bit to the left. This is a question. Why does the AI do this? Apparently to snipe this drone is part of the answer. Oh no, but he doesn't even get the drone. Bob, you crapped the bed. Adepts are gonna harass at the natural base. There is the queen there. The Immortal is not gonna be doing too well as he's getting surrounded by lings and attacked by hydras. Rest in peace, Bob. And the 2 adepts are gonna be doing all right for themselves. Get lifted up into that prism. One of them goes down. So I guess not really doing all right for themselves. 3rd is on the way for the Protoss. That was the 4th starting for the Zerg. And the Zerg, he's making drones. He's getting up +1 or getting up to Hydra range. If the Zerg player just starts to spam out Hydras, I'll say things aren't going to be too terrible. AlphaStar has got High Templar, but seems to have forgotten Psystorm, which is definitely a problem. Now we take a look. Hydras, lings, out on the map for the Platinum player, but not in a vast quantity. And so we see 14 more Hydralisks starting up behind this, which I do like to see. Protoss armies out on the map a little bit, but yeah, I mean, the Zerg force isn't too bad. If we see literally just mass Hydras and AlphaStar elects not to use AoE, then there's a chance that the Platinum player could win this game. If he's just one of these Zergs that just makes mass 200 Hydra, then that wouldn't be too bad. 14 Banelings are on the way as well. That could be good, too. I mean, AlphaStar does have the Templar. They've got the energy, but there's been no Psystorm research. So where's the Stormy boys? No, there's the Stormy boys. They're just not feeling good today. They just didn't bring it with them. No Psystorm. +2 is now on the way for AlphaStar, just mining at its 3rd base. So the lower agents, which this is, definitely don't have as much of a killer's instinct as does like the later agents, which rely on like, say, the Adept, Prism, DT, Archon timing attack sort of stuff. We are going to be seeing AlphaStar move out on the map. There is Psystorm going to be moving in against 20 Hydras and 14 Banelings, which this, I think, will actually be more close of a fight than I thought. But there is 5 Immortals. They do have +1 attack. There's an Archon. Depends on the Baneling connections too, but Baneling speed was never researched, so we'll see how this is going to go. And if the Zerg just decides to kind of move on in like this, Hydra's getting force fielded out, which is a bit of a mixed bag as they're kind of protected from the Zealots. Baneling's going off on the Zealots that do charge in. Baneling's waddling forward, going to pick off a High Templar, but it does look like there isn't going to be enough for the Zerg player, and the Zerg player is not making any more additional units with this. That's really what we need to see. If all of these 1,300 minerals were turned into more Hydras, he'd be doing fine, and he's getting a little bit too close and personal to the Zealots, so he's going to retreat, pull the drones. Drones can try and buffer for the Hydras, but drones into Archons is never a good thing. We see 18 Lings get fired up as the weapon of choice to help with this, but it looks like it's just not going to be enough for the Platinum player. He tried, he gave it a good effort. Maybe if he made a few more Hydras, he could have won that fight. But in the end, AlphaStar does manage to win the game, does manage to take the video 2-0. And so well played by AlphaStar, able to make that happen. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and slap that like button. If you are watching these videos all the way to the end, but you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. It does go a long way to helping out the channel. Join the Discord, which is linked down in the description down below. And if you want to become a member, support the channel, you can do that by clicking the link down there too. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is LaughNgamez. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.